What's up guys, Ruppy here, welcoming you to week 2 of UNPL Season 5. Last week, our Cassette Beasts edition of the Columbus SWU got our season started off on the right foot thanks to some late game heroics from our Quaquaval Regency to break through the bubblegum wall that was Clefable. If I didn't hate Clefable before... Anyway, let's not dwell too much on that, especially since, again, I can't fault Emerald for playing to the only out he really had in that situation. But let's put that behind us and hit the play button on our matchup for this week, because it's gonna be a scary one. Our Columbus SWU will be facing off against the Mediterranean Mimikyus, coached by Viz. And yes, I'm talking about that Viz. The same Viz who was in SPL Season 1 and kicked that season off by taking down Pokeaim with a Crocolore and a Facade Ting Lu. That should give you an idea of what I'm up against this week, especially since Viz is not only a very creative battler, but he also drafted what I would argue is the scariest roster in the entire league. He fully committed to Sun and drafted an entire album's worth of past Paradox Mons to take advantage of it. Gouging Fire, Walking Wake, Sandy Shocks, Slitherwing. He's even got Ceruledge and Exeggutor to bask in Torkoal's Sun as well, and barbecue any team that opposes him. Exeggutor is also one of his Terra captains, with Psychic, Fire, and Rock as his Terra types, alongside his other captains, a Skuntank that can terastallize into a Dark Fairy or Normal type, and an Alolan Dugtrio that can terastallize into a Ground, Steel, or Fire type. Viz's team is extremely scary, but it does have quite a few weaknesses that are easy to miss if you get caught up in the raw firepower the Sun provides him. And that's the sign to start off our playlist for this game with the debut of my other Terra captain, Wormaw the Sandaconda. Wormaw is incredible into Viz's team, with me sporting just enough speed to outrun a modest max speed Exeggutor outside of Sun. A weird choice perhaps, but it allows me to pump the remaining EVs into Wormaw's bulk, because this set is meant to tank hits and coil up to become a tough nut to crack for his physical attackers, especially with Rocky Helmet providing extra chip, healing up with rest, and hopefully getting Shed Skin to cooperate with me for quick wake-ups, and then using the combination of Earthquake and Terra Fairy Terra Blast to tear his team apart. While Viz does have some potentially fast things to outrun everything I have in the Sun, I do have a few speed counters to that, the first of which is Jinbell the Dragapult. Benchmarking our speed for Timid Max Speed Scarf Tornadus Therian, Jinbell has just enough speed with a Choice Scarf, even with a modest nature, to outrun Viz's entire team even in the Sun, and try to eclipse his strategies with raw, especially offensive firepower of my very own. Draco and Shadow Ball are powerful stab, especially the former against his two heaviest hitters in Gouging and Wake. Flamethrower takes advantage of his own Sun to try and do a little barbecuing of our very own, and U-Turn allows us to pivot out for momentum. Next up is probably the best tape I had to play this week in Dandylion the Whimsicott. Believe it or not, Dandylion looks incredible into Viz's team, and that's partially because I'm actually running Chlorophyll this week to turn Viz's Sun against him, allowing Dandylion to always outrun everything he could throw at me with no exceptions. Just in case Sun isn't in play though, I benchmarked for Jolly Max Speed Alolan Dugtrio to still outrun everything barring Scarfers and Tornadus Therian. With Choice Specs in hand for the second week in a row, Dandylion's Moonblast is very spammable and deals incredible damage to Viz's entire team, with Energy Ball and Shadow Ball providing great coverage. I'm also packing Switcheroo, just in case the opportunity arises, to try and give my specs to something that really can't use them, potentially locking Viz into potential setup attempts and opening a few more doors for me. Another beast who looks better into Viz's team than you'd think at first glance is our hero from last week, Regency the Quaquaval. Yes, Viz's Sun will dampen the power of Aqua Step, but I can still take advantage of the water weakness floating around his roster and, more importantly, take advantage of the guaranteed speed boost on top of it. Rapid Spin also allows me to get those boosts while keeping hazards off my side of the field, and Close Combat and Triple Axle round out Regency's offensive onslaught. An Assault Vest gives Regency a chance to take hits from Wake and try to put it down, especially with Moxie boosts, and if I can get enough speed boosts to potentially outrun everything. Next up, we have another debuting face this week in the form of our Angel Demon Ninja Cat Girl, Kuniko. Hey, we all had to start somewhere with a cringy OC we created in our youth, and Kuniko was one for Felix and Cassette Beasts, who ultimately turned out to be quite the effective monster to battle with. In any case, while our Kuniko, Incineroar, might have some issues dealing with Wake, Sun or not, her special bulk is great for handling the rest of that side of Viz's roster, while Intimidate helps to try and keep the physical side in check. Especially when combined with Parting Shot to keep things manageable. Especially for potential DD gouging fire. Flare Blitz gets crazy powerful in the sun, Knockoff helps to get rid of any items that might make things difficult for us, and Earthquake further exploits the huge ground weakness present in Viz's team. Last but not least is the final Archangel I'm putting into my nickname theme. Morgante, the Meloetta. With an Assault Vest and benchmarking for Jolly Max Speed Ceruledge, Morgante is my hopeful means of trying to tank at least one hit from Wake and fire back for big damage, which I can not only deliver in spades with Stab, Hyper Voice, and Psyshock, but also Shadow Ball for the aforementioned Ceruledge, and Exeggutor if it hasn't Terra'd or gone Terra Psychic, or Luring Voice, which will especially upend any potential setup plans he tries to pull by confusing something that tries to do so in front of them. That's going to be the playlist for our Week 2 Barbecue with Viz. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to It's Danny Mac for the help in building this week. So, will Viz proceed to barbecue our Cassette Beasts this week? Will I manage to pull off what could potentially be considered a huge upset? We'll find out when it's battle time. Alright, it's battle time. Let's see how well I fare against Big Bad Viz and his, Sun team, which I do see Torkoal already, so we're going straight for that. Gouging Fire, Exeggutor, Slitherwing, Tornadus Therian, Walking Wake, and the Torkoal. So it's hard to really say I'm surprised by anything not coming with Viz's team, considering this is pretty much what it was built to do. No Skuntank's a little surprising, because I figured, which, that actually kind of makes things a little easier for Jin Bell. In regards to what I see here, I think I'm going to lead Regency, actually. Yeah, we're going to do that. See if we can catch the Torkoal right out of the gate and go from there. Or anything else he wants to throw my way. So, good luck, have fun, Viz. Make sure you guys go check out his side of the battle. Give it a like and a sub. Give it a like, give him a sub. He definitely deserves it. He has more than earned his reputation as a nasty Pokemon, or a nasty draft player, cutting his teeth with Joey in them. As the Torkoal is exactly how we are going to start this out, so not too surprised there in retrospect. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and Aqua Step right out of the gate. Yeah, it's kind of weakened by the sun, but anything to get speed boosts up early and often to try to see if I can turn Quaquaval into a menace here. As he does set up rocks, which is completely fair. I can just spin those away. Alright. So he has nothing that's a ghost type, so I'm just going to go ahead and spin these away, get rid of them. I mean, it's another speed boost, which definitely helps. I think it, pending what he might have going with Exeggutor, or maybe even Walking Wake, being a +2 speed might allow Quaquaval to outrun them. Well, probably not Exeggutor with Chlorophyll, but Protosynthesis Walking Wake, definitely, unless that thing is Scarf Protosynthesis. Which, now that I think about it, I wouldn't actually be surprised at that idea, considering I do have a Dragapult. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Rapid Spin, if nothing else. It's still a little more chip on this thing. Quackable's now at +2 speed, so Regency getting set up right out of the gate here. Not bad. As he just goes for a Lava Plume, which Regency eats. And we're just going to go for another Aqua Step just to be on the safe side. Keep chipping away at this thing. That is +3 speed now, so Regency is definitely outrunning Viz's entire team, or at least it should. As he Lava Plumes again. I'm starting to wonder if he's looking for the burn. How many turns of Sun has left? 2 more if he's not Heat Rock. I see no reason not to go for another Aqua Step. I mean, yes, Regency's being chipped down, but we are definitely getting set up to a point where I think we can make this all work. As rocks are going to go back up. That is fine. This should be his last turn of Sun if he's not Heat Rock. So I'm perfectly fine with spinning to keep these rocks away. And then going from there, as he does switch this time. So Tornadus Theron is in now. That confirms to me that he is Heat Rock on, yeah, he's Heat Rock on Torkoal. Which makes a ton of sense. So I'm actually not afraid of this thing. Because I have AV. I definitely outrun it, too. Which is certainly nice. I think we're going to gamble on the triple axle. There's 1. There's 2. We got the 3, and there goes Tornadus Theron. And we get a Moxie boost out of the deal as well. So, Regency is really in a good spot right out of the gate here. There is absolutely nothing Viz has that's going to be able to outrun me. His Sun is still going to be limited. I think it should be 2 more turns after this before I can start Aqua Stepping for super effective water damage. But I mean, Gouging Fire might be the only thing I'd really need it for, potentially. Maybe Terra Fire Executor, if that's what he brought. Though I don't think he would Terra, even with the Sun in that case. He'd probably just stay Terra Grass. Although he does know I have Triple Axle now, so that would probably cut into that. So not the start I was expecting, but I will certainly take this. As Slitherwing comes in now. I'm at 237. So assuming you're Adamant Banded, which I'm pretty sure you are, I mean, that seems likely. I should be out of range of a first impression. With the Sun still up, Triple Axle feels like my best play here. As I go ahead and miss this time. Which, you know what? Completely fair. And I seriously doubt that crit mattered. That is completely fine, though. I mean, Quackable's in a really good spot, but that's the way the game goes sometimes, especially with Sun still lurking around. Speaking of which, though, I really see no reason not to go into Dandylion and start firing off Specs Moonblasts on stuff. You can't first impression me now because they can only be done on the first turn. And I don't think anything else really wants to eat this. So yeah, we're gonna go Moonblast. I think the only thing he has that would want to take this is Torkoal, and I don't think he sends that in to potentially die. Not without at least getting Sun back up first, so he can exploit the full 8 turns he would have. Gouging Fire might be his next best bet? Or he just lets this thing go. Okay. So Slitherwing is no longer an issue, which is actually a huge load off my mind. That makes things a lot easier for both Kuniko and Morgante, Incineroar and Meloetta respectively. Especially Meloetta without the threat of First Impression. As now Torkoal is going to come back in, which is of no surprise to me. And you might be out of range of a Moonblast, unfortunately. Which would kind of suck. I'm going to go for it anyway, because I have no reason not to. Oh, he probably called me switching. So, in comes Exeggutor, which is going to have to take this. It takes it decently well. So, okay, so you might have some bulk to you then, which now raises the question of what exactly are you? I could see Terra Fire. And I'm gonna go into Kuniko. Maybe a waste of an Intimidate, but at the very least, we'll get some semblance as to, insight as to what this Exeggutor is going to be playing with. As he does Terra. Terra Fire. Yep. Okay, good to know. You probably have Terra Blast you're going to unleash on me then. Ancient Power. Interesting. Okay. That is real interesting to see. I'm going to go ahead and Earthquake, because it should take care of you. The Ancient Powers again. Yeah, Kuniko can take this. And we're going to fire off this Earthquake. And that is the Exeggutor problem gone. Okay, definitely not how I expected this to go. I'll be completely honest, I was certain Viz was gonna cook me. Because there's a lot about his team that is extremely scary for a reason. And this is one of them. Special Attack Raise. Okay. That is very good to know. So you are a not boosting speed. I could kind of use Kuniko still for Intimidate and potential Parting Shot on Gouging Fire. So I think my play then... I mean, I don't know if you're specs or not. I think my play is to go into Morgante anyway. And we go from here. So you're going to fire off a Hydro Steam. Which, that did a ton. Are you... Okay, that knocked me down to 136. Are you modest specs? No, that's potential timid specs, too. Based on that roll. I think I'm just going to sack Morgante. It sucks. It sucks because I really wanted Morgante to be able to do more in this game, but it is what it is. That said, though, I have options. I know Dragapult outruns this thing for sure now. And he's locked in a Hydro Steam anyway. Whimsicott with Chlorophyll would also outrun this thing. And there's nothing that really wants to take a Moonblast right now. So yeah, I think Dandylion's the play. We're gonna go Dandelion. And I'm just gonna start firing off Moonblasts. Because I've got Chlorophyll. I definitely outrun you. Turn the sun right back on him. I mean, to be fair, I benchmarked to outrun this thing without the Protosynthesis speed boost anyway. So, this should still work out. Jeez, Hydro Steam does so much in the sun, even to Whimsicott. But you should drop to this Moonblast. Gouging Fire should be 2-shot. And even if Torkoal survives, it can't take a second one. So, there's a very good chance Dandelion, depending on what he does here, either actually somehow cleans up, or sets the stage for Dragapult to potentially clean up. Fire off this Moonblast. That is a dead Walking Wake. So that issue is off the table. He does still have Sun. I would not be surprised if Gouging Fire were to come in right now. That's gonna be the Torkoal. Alrighty. I'm just gonna stay in and fire off a Moonblast. It just barely misses out in the KO, but that is fine. Whimsicott, you did so well this game. I am so proud of you. So now comes the question of what do we want to do now? I'm gonna go into Wormaw. Yeah, we should be able to make this work. I should be able to take a Lava Plume, so I'm going to go ahead and coil up for the Gouging Fire. And then I can pick this thing off and we go from there. So we've got the coil. This thing is probably going to Lava Plume. Interesting. He spins. Which takes him out to my Rocky Helmet. Okay. He probably was anticipating me to just Earthquake and pick it off anyway, if I had to hazard a guess. But he does now know I have, Rocky Helmet. I'm just gonna click Earthquake. I don't think I even need my Terra. Goes for Raging Fury. Which does a decent chunk, even with the +1 boost. He's... Okay! Pads. Interesting. That is real interesting. I should still be out of range, though. I'll just go ahead and Terrasilize just to show it off. It's not really going to affect anything in terms of how this battle's going to go, but I think this is going to do it. I think Sandakan is going to finish this up from here. Interesting to see he actually brought pads to on a potential Rocky Helmet. Oh, that does take me out. Really? Interesting, I didn't have that killing. Unless Raging Fury... Unless you're banded and Raging Fury doesn't make contact. That's probably the only thing I could think of. Regardless, though, I'm gonna send in Jin Bell to wrap this up. Would have loved if Wormhawk could get the last kill, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna Shadow Ball because I know it's got... I know I can pick... I'm just gonna Shadow Ball because I know I can pick this thing off, and that should do it! So our cassette keeps playing, and our season rolls on to a 2-0 start. GG Viz! That was an incredible game. You definitely have probably the scariest team in the entire league, and I'm honestly surprised I won this game. I'm gonna be upfront about that. I was not expecting to win this game at all. Your team is just that nasty. But somehow we pull it off. Oh, man. Definitely go check out this side of the battle. Make sure to give him a like, comment on it. Show him some love. He definitely deserves it. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo Cassette Beasts Edition, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.